Hello and welcome to Cat Yak, where everything's controlled by evil cats. My name's Beast, I'll be your host. On today's whisker-twitching literary adventure, we have the third book in the Endless Quest series, Pillars of Pentegarn. This is the third book in the series written by Rose Estes. Pick a path to adventure. You are Jamie, a young villager with a love for the enchanted forest that everyone else fears. Will you find the secret power that now rules Castle Pentegarn? The paths you may take beyond the pillars are many, and the choices are yours. Only you can decide whether the wizard Pentegarn regains his kingdom. Will you fight the dragon skeleton with the brave warrior Beltek at your side? Will you try to trick the evil master whose slaves control Castle Pentegarn? Or will you run down a passage into the unknown, followed by the lovely elven thief Lydia? No matter what choices you make, adventure and actions are yours in Endless Quest books. You will find yourself returning again and again to experience the new paths of excitement. Will your choices halt the rule of the evil in the Pillar of Pentegarn? Once again, the book is published by TSR. We have a returning cover artist this time, with a cover done by Larry Elmore, but the internal illustrations is done by someone new. The internal illustrations are done by Harry J. Quinn. The review edition I used for this is the 5th edition printed on March 1983, but I also have the 2nd edition printed on July 1982. The only main differences that I've seen between the two copies of the book are the cover design and the back blurb. I was really excited about getting to read this book because this is one of them I didn't actually get to read as a child, and a lot of people seem to really enjoy this one. Granted, the main character is a young child, but he serves more as a blank slate for the reader. And yes, you do get talking animal sidekicks in this one. But what this book does have going for it is a competent adventure group. Besides the main character, you also get an old wizard, a male warrior, and even a female thief. So to me, it sounded like they are actually trying to do a classic Dungeons & Dragons style adventure. With the third book in the series, Rose seems to have finally hit her stride with the choose-your-own-path book mechanics. Gone are the annoyingly long intros and the huge linear sections of text. In fact, I think the longest group of pages I had to read straight through was in the 2 to 3 page range, and there are a far greater number of choices to choose from along the way. Now, the new illustrator did a very interesting job with the pictures in the book, but there's only one problem. They're really dark. It almost looks like maybe they were originally done in color and then they were just printed in black and white. So it's not really my favorite illustrations. The story centers around a young boy who has the ability to talk to animals, and he happens upon a group of adventurers while out in the wood. They are trying to break into the old castle Pentegarn and trying to help the old wizard regain his power and title as king. Along the way, your main character acts more of a tiebreaker of sorts. When they come to a decision, it kind of falls down onto him as the one to finally make it, which is kind of silly if you look at it, because why would these grown adult adventurers be relying on a kid to tell them whether to go left or right? Now, there are only really 4 main paths the reader can go on. You can decide to agree with the wizard and do things by magic. You can agree with the warrior and do things with brute strength, or you can agree to do what the thief says and sneak around, or you can decide to choose your own path. The interesting part of following these different paths is, depending on which one you do, different members of your party will die. A few of the memorable deaths are Lydia gets turned into a skeleton, or the warrior tackles a bunch of goblins off a cliffside. The book is on the easy side. I was able to complete it the first time and get the happy ending. But here's the weird thing. In this book, the happy ending isn't the last page. If you're familiar with other choose-your-own-adventure books like the Fighting Fantasy series, usually the true happy ending of the story is on the last section of the book. This one is kind of muddled in the middle somewhere. But since I was able to complete it the first try without dying, I'd have to say this book is definitely a 1 out of 10 for difficulty. This entire story has this weird melancholy vibe to it. Even the happy ending has a weird kind of sad undertone, but overall the book was well worth reading. Granted, it's not the most in-depth or memorable, but it was still an excellent read, and the adventure was well worth rereading as well. I give this book a 3 out of 5 paws.